Hello, I'm John Joe. Welcome to Line War. Right at the beginning of this match, we've got Someone Said That My Nickname Sucks setting up a defensive line against Imphenzia as they've started right next to each other. Nickname has got this section of the map. He really needs to get out of this area to try and take control over some part of the map, some eco, because Imphenzia has a significant position over him when it comes to territory. If he can get down this area and trap Nickname in this section, then Imphenzia will have a very good control over what Nickname has access to. So we're starting with two airfields. Are they bombers? No, they're strikers. They just haven't got their wings on yet. When I see the black bits at the back, I assume they're the bombers. We've got the strikers right at the beginning. They're going to be able to try and take out some structures over here, to be fair. But I don't think Nickname's going to go for eco structures here. He's going to need to... He is, actually. He's got a town up and running. He hasn't gone for the industry. He does have his town, and he's got an airfield going, and he wants a factory up and running. That's probably for the artillery behind these defensive lines. And then he'll be able to push on through. Down here we have the infantry coming through. He's just trying to take over some territory down in this direction. He's trying to push a few units back just to show some aggression, and then maybe push Imphenzia a little bit, or at least delay him so that he can get some units out in this direction. From Imphenzia's point of view, he's spreading a lot of his units out to try and expand. Nickname's units have come off of this defensive line. He's taken all units away from it, so no units prioritise that line anymore. So that he can push a few units through and grab some territories. He's left the line there so that the fortifications are still up, and he can always bring his units back into it. And now Nickname is building up some industry, which I'm assuming is because he thinks he's going to be stuck in this area. He's not going to be able to expand very much, so he's spending his eco on this industry to keep up that eco. That's my assumption. I'd probably not do that. I'd probably try and get my units reducing really fast and get them out there. And try and take out Imphenzia, or at least, you know, push him back a little bit. But Nickname is a very good player at this, so I know that he has a plan, and I know that he's pretty good at what he does. He does have those bombers, though, that I was on about earlier. So he is going to be trying to take out structures specifically, I think, because I think they target structures a bit better. Let me know in the comments, just if I'm wrong. But we got the strikers here, which is always my preferred air unit. And Imphenzia already has artillery on the field. He doesn't see an airfield, but he's assuming Nickname is going for air units. He's got a SAM being produced here. And it looks like Imphenzia is taking the advantages he can. He's pushing some units down through the south to try and claim this area. Stop Nickname from getting out of there, which he has already kind of got out of there. Got quite a few units, and he's able to try and come across the map. I think he knows that Imphenzia is going to try and take this area, so he's going around the coastline, and he's trying to get around the back, so he can try and get a bit more units out there. In the forest, the infantry have the advantage, but they're up against infantry, so it doesn't matter too much. They're still about equal. Imphenzia is going to push forward, and with no artillery at this section right here, the artillery here is going to get some free shots against this line of infantry. But Nickname is going for some tanks, so he's going for a bit of... He does have an energy well. I was wondering about that. He's going for a bit of an energy-based push here. He's got two tanks being produced. He doesn't have a barracks, I don't think. He's got one over here. But he's mostly got tanks and an airfield. So he's going to need a lot of energy to run this. At least the tanks, though, can switch into artillery production. So he doesn't need to base it off energy only. Imphenzia just needs to push this line a little bit further forward to try and shoot at these units here. Which is what he is doing, I think. He's setting up a defensive line around Nickname. His defensive line is actually a little bit better because it's curved. It will give his unit's firing arc a bit more chance to shoot twice. So one unit comes in, it'll be 2 against 1 on certain sections of that line. Imphenzia is slowly winning in this little section here. He is sending some units down, and I think Nickname knows this. He's got some units in a fortified position here. Try and stop them getting into the main location. But Imphenzia hasn't even used his airfield yet. He's got 6 strikers. No, he hasn't. He's got 5 strikers and 1 interceptor over there. So he's still expecting some air units, which he can now see the airfield. The bombers are en route. They're going straight over to this area. They are circling around. That is an awesome line you've drawn there. It's going across over here, and he's going to circle around this barracks over here. I think they're going to bomb that twice. One when they go through this section, one when they come through this bit, and then they're going to end over here. But unfortunately, Imphenzia spotted this. He's bringing in the interceptors only to try and help take them out there. But now that he can see more over there, these bombers are going to hit more structures than he expected, and he's going to be able to see what's going on there a bit better, but he still doesn't know about the airfields or what's going on there, because he's only seen 1 interceptor. The SAM units were able to take 1 shot at these at the bombers here, and were able to take it out. And that one's just going to fly straight over it again, and it gets taken out as well, which is unfortunate for Nickname. It means he's lost his air advantage that he had in that section, or that he thought he had, because Imphenzia's actually got quite a few more units than he does. I would just like to point out that even though the air units can be shot at by infantry, such as like strikers flying over the infantry and tanks would still shoot at them, interceptors and SAM are the only things that can hit the bombers, as far as I've heard. So the bombers get absolutely free hits on infantry like this. Except for from the SAM, of course. But just groups of infantry, they'll take no damage. The interceptors are all Imphenzia's using over here. He doesn't want his strikers to be revealed just yet. So he's trying to limit what Nickname actually knows about. Which is why he's only using his interceptors in this location. But now he's seen the tanks. And he's going to be sending in his strikers now, I think. Yep. And they're going to be taking out these tanks as they come in. From Nickname's point of view, he's bringing them in this way. He can see the structures he wants to kill. He can see that he's up against interceptors, but he doesn't know about what's going to come through this fog of war any second now. The artillery's positioned itself right here, just at the edge of this line, and those strikers came in and took out 1 tank almost straight away, heavily damaged the front one, and the back one got a few hits in. But now those tanks have pretty much just been surprise attacked, and I don't think they're even going to make it to there if these strikers come back. I don't think they are. Yeah, the tanks are just going to carry on moving forward now. Yeah, he's sending the tanks over this way to see what's going on and try past Imphenzia maybe. He's got 2 more bombers up and running. They're going to fly straight over these SAM units. Take a bit of damage as they do. And those tanks didn't do as much as he thought he would. He was going to try and sneak around the back of the base, I think, and see if he could set up something behind. Those bombers are attacking over here, but the strikers come in to try and defend it, but the SAM units are being produced, and they keep straying off towards this area because that's where the airfield is. And they both get blown up once again. Down in this section, we do have the infantry still taking over territory here, but there isn't many of them, and they're not being reinforced, so they are losing ground a little bit, or losing pace, should I say. Nickname sending a tank in down this way, probably to grab some territory through this area here to try and get something at the back. Potentially hit back at Imphenzia with. And the strikers are now being used in full force, pretty much anywhere Imphenzia gets the opportunity to do so. And right now, I think Imphenzia could take over this... There you go. He's doing it as I say it. He could take over this area quite easily. The artillery's taken out a few of these units here. And he's just setting up a closer defensive line by the looks of it. He's trying to move it forward so the artillery is like that. I think a good way to do it is to not have the artillery on the defensive line and try and move it forward if you need it. When you see a unit come in, move it back. That might be a good way to do that. And the tanks have gotten through there, but Imphenzia's probably seen that. He could use the strikers to try and cut them off. I don't know if he does that. I'll have to see what he decides to do about it. The tanks have come in to try and take on the defensive line here, but they're going to struggle to get through it. And they have an artillery shooting at them, so they probably will be able to get some kills here, but it's probably not going to be cost effective. And we do have quite a few SAM units here, so the strikers aren't going to be able to get in this area very easily, but there is quite a lot of strikers against these SAM units. They probably would succeed in that. Strikers have been called to try and stop these tanks as they progress forward, and I think the tanks are just there to take out the SAM units. So Imphenzia's prediction didn't quite work there, but I think they will still reach this location. They will still shoot those tanks. But as they fly over this area, they might get caught off by the SAM that's behind these defensive lines. And that interceptor took quite a bit of hits then, and was able to survive. Pretty much a little bit of white smoke, he's fine. And they did save 2 SAM units over there, so he's fine. And if I remember correctly, Nickname snuck in a few tanks over here. One of them's still alive, so he's able to try and take some territories back here and do something with that. Eco-wise, let's have a quick look at what's going on. We do have a transport jet trying to sneak up there. We've got 560 from Nickname, who is kind of trapped right now. But 480 from Imphenzia, who is not trapped and has the capability to expand. So Nickname is doing a very good job at keeping up with Imphenzia. But on the ground, it looks like Imphenzia is winning most of the fights. And I think that was mostly because Nickname invested quite a lot in these bombers early on, and they died pretty quickly. So they weren't really... They were unfortunate investments. I think Imphenzia is trying to search for that tank that went over here. And because the tank snuck off all the way up here, I don't think he's going to spot it. And I think he might think he's safe there, if he doesn't see what's going on. Imphenzia is struggling with energy right now. We heard the warning then. We got that there. His outgoings is a lot more, and that's pretty much just the Air Force that's flying around, costing him that much energy to run. So let's have a look at Nickname, because he's trying to get some commandos dotted around the map. He does have some here. He's not capturing territories. He's just having a look around. And he does have the transport jet moving over this way, I think. Yep, there's one there. I think he's just trying to back up the units over here. And he's got some structures there to try and capture the lands over in this direction. But Imphenzia is coming down through there. And we'll probably spot that and take that out pretty soon. Imphenzia's got quite a few aircraft here. He could set up some airstrips to try and get closer to the enemy. And even just keep up the production. But I don't think he needs to right now. He needs to find more energy first before he can consider that. Imphenzia's building a barracks there. Can Nickname see that? He can. So he might be able to target that before it becomes useful. And take it out. Over in this direction though, Imphenzia has energy set up there. Which is really far back. And that would fund him quite a while. And he does have some eco set up too. Other than that, I don't think there's much else you can really expand to on this map. And it looks like Nickname's going for that city. He's expecting this game to be quite a long game, because cities take quite a while to get your return back on your investment. Imphenzia is pushing through there as the infantry are away from their defences. Have been taken away from their defences, they've been killed. The Imphenzia's Nickname's getting pushed back through his own base. The only thing he's got to defend with is some SAM units. He's got his tanks, he's bringing them back through. Trying to push them through the enemy here so they don't take out any of his structures, but there's quite a few artillery here. Is Imphenzia using a flag line here? He is. I wouldn't do that. I'd definitely have these on arrow commands. Get in there and take out the structures while his tanks are away. And then change these to flag commands once you need to move again. So Imphenzia is pushing through here, and with these flag commands it is making him a bit slower, but it is also keeping his units grouped together a bit more. So like his artillery are all forming in this location and they are able to shoot together, so there is that benefit to it. And Imphenzia sneaking one commando in through the south. That'll be quite a good scout if you can get it right at the back of here. And also I've just spotted that. I didn't realise Imphenzia's put in some commandos at the back there. One of them survived. Now the tanks are in the front line here, they probably will be able to take out this force over here. Trying to make sure I don't miss anything else going on. There is a battle going on down here, commandos versus artillery. I think 4 commandos will win that, but the infantry are moving in as well. And Imphenzia is not committed into this battle anymore. He's leaving his units there to hold off those tanks while his units get into formation once again. so that he can then push them back through. He is building airstrips now. He hasn't got enough energy to run that many aircraft though, so he needs to have another energy well being built soon. There is one right here, but it would cost a bit of effort to try and get it. You do need to set up a shipyard, and there isn't much territories to grab in this ocean, so it's hardly worth it, but you can destroy it, so destroy the ship that claims them. And then it is just free eco after that. It's just a bit more of an investment to try and do that. He shortened his line here to try and keep his units more grouped together. And Nickname can see that they're forming a line here, so he's not too confident about advancing through this area. Strikers and interceptors have grouped together down here to try and push back Nickname. But Nickname seems to have won the engagement in this area. And he's spreading out his commandos to try and push back up through towards Imphenzia. And what's this tank doing over here? He's managed to take one territory over, and he's taken another. But his line doesn't include tanks. If that was still going around, he'd be able to claim a lot of this territory with the tank as well. But he is trying to expand beyond the base limits. He's also managed to get over here, and I think he's taken out Imphenzia's energy. Oh no, he hasn't. It was a different place. He's managed to take out the town, though, and the strikers are here trying to guard the energy well. He's got some units coming in to try and scan the grounds for that commando. If those commandos coming up through this area spot these airfields, they'll be able to take out all of these air units, which would be a big hit to Imphenzia's economy. Not necessarily his eco being produced, but like the amount of money invested into those airfields is what I meant. So the commandos have spotted the barracks first. The airstrips aren't spotted. I assume they're stealth then. I didn't realise the airstrips themselves were stealthed. There we go. We can see the air units taken off in this area though, so Nickname probably does know about it. But I don't think they're going to survive against this many strikers. Nickname can now see these airstrips, and the tanks are moving forward now. He's going to try and claim this territory as he moves, which is going to give Imphenzia a bit more time to respond to this army that's moving forward. From Nickname's perspective, he can see over here he's just moving his units across. He's trying to keep his SAM units near this large group of tanks. But I think putting them over here gives Imphenzia the opportunity to try and sneak in the back and try and take him out. But the tanks are coming down for these airfields. They're not going towards this factory up here, but that means the air units could defend this area quite easily. If he spots it, it's not moving because he's out of energy. So this is a good time for Nickname to try and send these tanks in this direction. Unfortunately for Imphenzia, he just simply can't move these air units. He's trying, he's got them trying to take off, but they won't stay there for long. He's got transport jets dropping in commandos as well, I think. Yep, and they're going to be trying to take out these airfields just as fast, and I think Imphenzia has lost this little location here and all of these units on these airfields. There we go, he lost one. He's just taken out all of those air units, and another one there is going to lose again all of those air units, leaving Imphenzia's large air army back down to about 5 units, maybe 7, 8, which will help fix his energy problem. So, you know, Nickname's just trying to help Imphenzia out here. Over here, Nickname actually has 2 energy wells, so he can run a lot more energy production than Imphenzia can. Now these tanks are still grouped together. He's still got 4 of them, and he's able to probably defend from this quite easily. And over here the SAM units are moving out, but they are kind of exposed. You could just get some units to go this way, but there is quite a lot of them, and I think they'll be able to take out whatever he has little to spare. You really need to get these air units in this location, but unfortunately it's going to be really difficult for him to do that. He's spotted some danger over here. We've got the commando must have survived over there, and they built a barracks right next to Imphenzia's only energy well, And Nickname doesn't even know about it yet. He hasn't seen the energy well. Or at least he can't see it right now. And that would ground Imphenzia's main air units right now. His main force is air. Even after that attack, it's still air units. The commandos are being dropped in at the end of this line. There's quite a few of them. 6 units coming down. And they'll be able to take out some of this production as Nickname pushes through. These tanks have found the airfield, and Nickname is taking advantage of that as well. He's going to go strike on a strike command into these airfields. And they're out of energy once again. All of these units are going to land here at just the wrong time. But unfortunately, there's nothing Imphenzia can really do about that right now. But there is one tank left. Will it survive? That commando might be able to take it out just in time, but the tank does hit hard and it's taking this airfield down with it. No, luckily for Imphenzia, that commando was able to take out that tank before it became a problem, but unfortunately for Imphenzia, he had to deal with the structure that was up here in the territory that was being claimed. His airfields were under attack, and now this force is full force through his base right now. And he is having to deal with all of this at the same time. And now it kind of feels like Imphenzia is trapped because Nickname has full control over the rest of the map. From this area downwards. These bombers are coming in through this area. They're trying to target the airfields, but unfortunately they are being distracted, taking out some of the structures en route. But they have now got there. They are going to try and take on the airfields. But there's quite a few interceptors here. They take out that one bomber. The other bomber's still alive, but I don't think it's going to be able to take out that airfield just yet. I might be wrong. It's turning for it right now. The interceptors are coming in. It manages to get a shot off, but it's not enough, and those interceptors will take that out before it gets another shot in again, I think. They have changed targets. They're going back for it, but he's going out of range, so I think he's going to escape there. Over here, the tanks are pushing through now. Nickname really wants to take out those airfields. And he is dedicating a lot to it, and I think, to be fair, it's definitely worth it. Because not only was it the airfields, he didn't ignore the rest of what was going on. He did manage to keep up with the attacks on these airfields. And now that is weakening Imphenzia's offense towards him. And allowing Nickname to push through against Imphenzia even faster. Imphenzia's only got this area left over on the map. Not much else left around. And the SAM units are picking off these extra interceptors as they come over. But unfortunately, Nickname's attack has pretty much ended at this point. But he pretty much destroyed Imphenzia during that assault. And there is something going on over there against that. I think he managed to get some more commandos in over there. He has. And that commando is going to take out the energy well anyway. Meaning that the air units would have stopped at that point. Actually, no, that's him. Yeah, there you go. It does stop. He is out. I was looking at Nickname then when I saw 60. There is quite a few units left over here, but these are mostly SAM units. They're not going to be very good at taking out these ground units. Fortunately for Imphenzia, he just wasn't able to contain Nickname's plan. He did have a good plan to continue, and he did manage to pull it off. Over down here, Imphenzia still has to deal with these attacks coming in from here. This is how the energy well was attacked from this location, which I completely missed. Starting with that one tank. If you remember, the one tank that managed to escape over here, and Imphenzia sent his air units down this way to scout it and missed. If Imphenzia had sent those air units over earlier and took out that tank, that energy well might have survived. I'm not saying that would have changed this ending of the battle, but it might have survived. Imphenzia hasn't quit yet though. He's still under attack. He's got some commandos to deal with over here. I don't think he can see them yet. Not at all. But he's building an artillery and infantry army, which can be good enough to take out Nickname in this situation if he can build it up enough and defend for long enough. But the SAM units are scouting that, and they can see what's going on there. Even if they lose this fight, it is telling Nickname what is going on over in his base. And he does take out that last airfield of which is probably the point where Imphenzia waved the white flag, because we are pretty much at the end of the match now. So if you like this video, feel free to subscribe. Remember, you can click the like button as well. And there's a Discord. If you want to share your own replays, you can come to my Discord and share it in the Line War chat. Or even on the Line War's official Discord channel. All the links are in the description below. I'll see you around. There are 2 videos on screen right now. If you want to watch some more, I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.